Hello everybody, Flamin' Shark, back with another video, and today we are reacting to the penultimate episode of Volume 6 of RWBY. We have Chapter 12 of Volume 6, Seeing Red. This episode is 13:57, so it's actually not that long. The last three have actually not been that long. I think episode 10, which kind of started this kind of finale run, was about 12 minutes, I want to say. Episode 11 was about 15, and this one is 13:57, all stuff. So it's not the longest episode. Now, usually with RWBY patterns, that's not that surprising that the pre-finale episodes are a little on the shorter side because they tend to make the finale episodes very long. And of course, that does include like a 5-minute credit sequence more often than not. But even taking all the extra minutes of the credits out, the finale episodes are some of the longest episodes of the series. So we can expect Chapter 13 of Volume 6 to be on the long side, probably 20 minutes minimum, excluding the credits minutes. So with the credits minutes, it'll probably get up close to 30, potentially even over 30 minutes. So we could have a very long finale. But our penultimate episode, not too long, but it's called Seeing Red. So this is interesting because my mind immediately goes to blood, and I think it should go for everyone. But Seeing Red's interesting. Now, in many ways, this feels like an Adam Blake Yang title. And The Lady in the Shoe, which I was informed was a fairy tale, and I got a little, people commented about that and what the fairy tale was. Believe it or not, I have never heard of The Lady in the Shoe before. So I thought that was just purely a Nora reference to what she said earlier in the season, but it was also that comment, and all of it is all a reference to the fairy tale that Caroline Cordova is based off of. And I had no idea there was even a Lady in the Shoe fairy tale. It sounds like a very fairy tale-y name or term, like The Lady in the Shoe sounds like a fairy tale. But I actually was not familiar with The Lady in the Shoe at all. So I think that's the first fairy tale this show has introduced that I had no knowledge of, which is really cool. Because, a lot of you guys knew, and I'm sure a lot of you looked it up, and I'm sure most of you probably just knew. But I had actually never heard of that before, so I'm glad you guys went in the comments and told me what the fuck was going on with The Lady in the Shoe. That was really cool. So, Seeing Red, you think of blood. And I think of blood in the current situation. I think of the Adam Blake Yang fight. Someone's going to get some color, potentially a lot of color. Adam legitimately could die in this episode. That is on the table right now, which is insane to think about. But Adam could die in this episode. He could die in the next episode. Obviously, Blake and Yang have plot armor. Something bad could happen to them. I don't know if I've discussed it on the channel, but I've discussed the possibility of Adam cutting Blake's ears off because there's so much there. I don't think I need to explain all the various story reasons why that would be so potato for Adam's character and Blake's character. Blake and Yang are probably going to survive this fight, potentially win this fight, potentially even kill Adam. That is on the table at this point. I feel like his character is a bit of a dead end, although the SDC scar kind of opens up a lot with him because sure enough, he has his vendetta against humans does specifically run back to the Schnee Dust Company. And so, him being the one to eventually oust Jacques Schnee is still very much on the table. The fact that he is isolated from the White Fang makes things awkward in regards to that. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. The Grimm could attack Argus because there's a lot of chaos going on in Argus. That's in play, and how that could play in. And I'm going to make a bold prediction and say in this episode, this is probably dead wrong, but my bold prediction is we are going to conclude the fight between Caroline and the group, and we're going to conclude the fight between Adam Blake and Yang, and we are going to get a Cinder and Neo sighting at the end of this episode as they try to kill, they'll try to kill, but I could see Cinder, and a lot of people have talked about Neo double-crossing Cinder when the moment's right. Neo and Cinder pop in trying to kill RWBY, but in reality, Cinder double-crosses Neo, actually doesn't try to kill RWBY, but tries to kidnap her, take her to Salem. And she can go 2 for 1 because she can get the relic while she's at it. I could see that happening. That's my wild prediction is Cinder and Neo pop up and we finish both of the fights. I feel like if one or both of these fights are left unresolved heading into Chapter 13, I think the Neo-Cinder theory is gone. Honestly, if we don't see Neo and Cinder at the end of Chapter 12, I don't think they're going to be in 13. I think they're going to pop in right at the end after both the fights are done, and RWBY is isolated in some context, and they're going to try to get her. I feel like the last scene of this volume with RWBY, with Neo and Cinder, was really potato in that it felt very non-conclusive. So I guess I could see all of the things being resolved, and then as we're kind of finishing the volume, we get another Cinder-Neo scene, and we get like a Tyrion-Watt scene, and we kind of figure out what all the villains are setting up for Volume 7. That's very possible. I just feel like that the Neo and Cinder arc, as regards specifically to this volume, is far from over. And I feel like that they can resolve the current fights in this episode. I feel like there isn't that much that needs to happen in the mech fight. And then Adam, Blake, and Yang, we'll see how it goes. But it is really interesting to me, this situation. And the episode doesn't feel long enough for them to pull all that off. But at the same time, it's literally just fighting. And then a Neo-Cinder appearance at the end is my theory here. Is we finish the mech fight, we finish Adam, Blake, and Yang, and then Neo and Cinder pop up right at the end. Right at the end, then cliffhanger. That's how I feel like this episode should go. Seeing red could also refer to RWBY, so it could be referring to the mech fight, or even the Neo Cinder at the end if my crackpot, not really crackpot, but my theory is correct. Seeing red could refer to RWBY, but it's probably referring to blood. I'm super excited for this episode, obviously. RWBY Volume 6 has been very good. It's had not necessarily stumbles, but it's had moments where it's gotten better and worse, but the consistency of the writing quality has been the one thing that Volume 6 has had going for it. It's always felt interesting. It's always felt different than the previous volumes. It's always felt like there's been a clear sense of direction. And, we never spent too much time standing still. And it's funny, because there was even an episode literally called Dead End that the whole point of it was standing still, but it wasn't something that maintained. I think one of the problems with Volume 5 was that it felt like they were kind of standing still for too long. And and a bunch of our heroes were kind of doing nothing the entire volume. I mean, our main character being one of them. I mean, RWBY and that group was Jean and Ren and Nora and Crow and Oscar were kind of just sitting there in Mistral for a lot of the volume. And I think that was a big problem with Volume 5 that I think a lot of people talked about, was that they were just sitting there and they weren't really doing anything. Meanwhile, Weiss was doing shit and Yang was doing shit and other villains and stuff. There was things happening, but there wasn't progression on all fronts. And people complained about being in that house too long, which the Rooster Teeth even referenced in Volume 6. So, great stuff. But anyways, I'm super excited for this. I'm not going to wait any longer. So without further ado, since I've been talking for almost 10 minutes at this point, let's just jump in to RWBY, Volume 6, Chapter 12, Seeing Red, in 3, 2, 1, and play. Okay, as per usual, I skipped the Genlock opening there. I think it was a different one than the one it's been the last few episodes. But like I said, I don't want any Genlock promos because I do plan to eventually react to that as long as I don't hear it's terrible. Move fast. Darkness cannot last. No hope, no path. But we've got a dream to catch, and we cannot wait. Trust the way we're made. The sparrow's born to fly. The mountain's tower. The river knows to reach the sea. Rain will help the flowers be. We're the same, you and me. The lightning doesn't take advice from anyone. The willow doesn't need to learn to stand. A sun seeks day. We'll find our way and we'll catch that dream together someday soon. We're rising like the moon. Oh my god, I got every line right! I said, we're the same, not we're the flame, and I actually finally said the rain will help the flowers be, which is the one line I always say something else on that line.
You just couldn't keep this rivalry between us, could you, Calavera? You had the rope in
Maria
fail with you.
They're cheering for her. Oh no. Oh shit. Oh shit.
RWBY!
Third party alert. Could it possibly be Neo and Cinder? Or even Tyrion and Wants?
Are you guys okay?
Are we okay?
I know, we were supposed to lay low, but listen. I think I finally found a weakness.
Okay.
Well, we're all ears.
Yeah. Good shit, John. You saved Nora.
The cylinder on Cordo's cannon rotates and locks in a giant dust cartridge every time she changes attack style.
Blow up. You got it.
We noticed.
Right, but her missile launcher doesn't lock in. It pops out. Without her shields, one well-placed shot could detonate the missiles while they're still in the launcher.
You could destroy the entire cannon. Oscar,
Yep.
that's brilliant.
And then all she can do is, like, brawl.
Make that kind of shot? We'll only get one chance before she catches on. I'd have to be practically staring down the barrel of her cannon.
Well, I've got a way to guarantee that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Get on the ship.
RWBY, what are you doing?
No chance to stop her, Crow.
Hey, Cordo! I've got one.
Oh no, there's something really bad. Oh no, there's something more important going on, Caroline. There's another...
That's a shame, Maria, because I have plenty!
I mean, White Fang seems like more or less...
Too crazy!
Yes!
Sometimes the best approach is simply the most direct!
I mean, that's true. Sniper shot. Ah, damn! She figured it out.
You thought you could fool me?
Shit! Jesus! Jesus! Oh! Oh shit! Jesus! Oh, there go her eyes.
My eyes!
No, no, no!
Take control!
And now Oscar's gonna have to try to fly this thing, but he doesn't know how to fly it. Ozpin would really be helpful. He might know how to fly it. Ooh. Are they gonna end up near Adam, Blake, and Yang? Crow? Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Oh shit. Oscar's fine.
We're still in one piece.
Oh, Ruby's hurt.
Very clever. But even the smartest apes can't compete with the intellect of man.
Damn. What a savage line. Her eyes are fucked up.
Come on!
RWBY. RWBY. RWBY.
RWBY, stop!
Red Like Roses Part 2. Don't give your life in vain.
I need you to trust me.
See summer in her? Oh, you definitely see summer in her. I have chills.
Surrender for your crimes and accept your punishment.
No! We're going to Atlas! Bigger people than you have tried to stop us and failed. But we're supposed to be on the same side.
We're supposed to use our power to protect people. But you just used yours to look down on everyone.
We didn't want to steal from you. We did it because you gave us no other choice. Now I'm giving you one last chance to stand down and hear us out.
Holy shit, RWBY! Holy shit, RWBY! She's gone completely heroin up in this bitch.
I've heard enough.
MC, motherfucker.
RWBY!
Is RWBY gonna... What the fuck is going on? Speed, yep, okay. What the fuck, RWBY? What the hell? She is nuts! Even Nora's...
The launcher springs out. But the raw dust gets locked in.
What the hell, RWBY? use the recoil and her speed to get out in time! Holy shit! That was sick! Oh, her aura though. Her aura though. Yeah, get her a good save from Weiss, save from Crow. Where's her sight? Ruby's fine, but her aura's not. Oh god, this sets up a little too well for Neo and Cinder though. I'm just saying.
Oh, don't tell me I missed it.
Fuck.
You knew you couldn't win 2-on-1 at Haven. What makes you so sure you can win now?
I don't have a choice. I have people who actually care about me. And I promised I'd never leave them again. So I'm not dying now.
You know, she made a promise to me once. That she'd always be at my side.
Oh, uh-oh.
And look how well she's kept it.
Damn.
Did she make that promise to you? Or to the person you were pretending to be?
Oh, yeah, it's sick! Jesus!
So I just wasn't good enough for you.
Nope.
You know it's so much more than that.
I know you've made your choice.
Dude.
And I've made mine.
Bumblebee shippers are losing their mind. I mean, I'm a Bumblebee shipper, but I'm kind of reserving my complete fucking mind blow until it feels confirmed or anything like crazy like that. Alright, let's see this happen. But I know how many Bumblebee shippers are considering this, like, this is so real. And it does, to be fair. It feels kind of real. But I mean, you can still easily think of it as more. I love how her weapon's like half fucked. Yo! Yo! Oh, look at you, Bumblebee teamwork attacks! Yes! Yes, the Bumblebee attacks! Holy shit! Oh, there goes Blake's aura! Holy shit!
Blake!
Holy
Moment
shit!
of truth, Yang. Do you think you're faster than you were at Beacon?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Me neither.
Me neither! Holy shit! This is
Your
nuts!
aura's bound to be running low.
That also means her power's running high. What the hell is Blake setting up? Blake? Blake's gotta get back there, but she's also out of aura. So she's gotta be real careful. Jesus! Jesus! Okay, they're really... It's getting more... Adam is the one that's making this feel shiftiest. Jesus! Yo! There's the red eyes. Seeing red! I forgot about her eyes! How did I not make that connection? Yep. Yo, the hair! Gotcha! Gotcha! Jesus! Holy shit! He doesn't have a sword.
Faster,
There goes her aura.
but I'm smarter.
Yeah.
No!
There goes his sword. Get him! What can you do without your sword, Adam? He needs some form of blade, right? No! Holy shit! It fucking happened!
Oh.
Oh. That's what you say, mate? Fucking oh? Is he gonna fall off? Holy shit! Jesus! See, I know Cinder looked like she died in the penultimate episode of Volume 5, but Adam legitimately just died.
I'm not gonna break my promise. I swear.
I know you won't.
Jesus Christ. Everything but a kiss?
No!
What the fuck?
No!
Holy shit, that happened!
You're never getting to Atlas, do you hear me? Never! Oh!
say
for it.
crap or
What about
trap?
Yang and Blake?
Ma'am, we've been trying to reach you. Argus is in danger.
Grim or other? Yeah, you were too busy worrying about this shit. Who is it? Well, here comes a Super Grim. Not what I was expecting, but I knew someone would pop up at the end of episode 12. It's Godzilla! Holy shit! And there's the Grim attack. Godzilla, like Kevin,
It's a
draws
Leviathan. If
a
it
Leviathan.
can't during your battle, we need you.
It's a Leviathan. And the ship is kind of fucked up. The mech is kind of fucked up. The whole thing that they made the mech for. Oh, man. Wow. Oh. Adam No Mask. They're showing the Adam concept art, and that's amazing. And you know, that reminds me just of like when they showed all the Roman concept art in the credits of the episode where he died, which was also a fucking penultimate episode. They really like to kill people off in penultimate episodes. Chapter 11 of Volume 3, we lost Roman. Chapter 13 of Volume 5, we lost, they faked the Cinder death. Obviously, it didn't happen. No one really believed the Cinder death anyways. But now in Chapter 12 of Volume 6, we lose Adam. I'm just going to say that this is a death. This is a character death. Adam's dead. For anyone who thinks he's not, if he comes back, there's going to be rage because that was a death. That, like, the Cinder one followed the rules of you don't trust it as a death. That was a death. That was crazy that all he said was, oh, and then, oh my God, he fucking died. Oh my God, he fucking died! Adam is dead! This is one of the biggest developments in RWBY. Honestly, like, Roman was a better character. Roman was a more interesting character. Penny was an awesome, lovable character. Adam was a mega dick. And probably one of the most unlikable RWBY villains. For a lot of people. Now, personally, I, in many ways, did enjoy him. I definitely wasn't one of the people who really loved him. I know Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass reaction to that is going to be something. Adam was such an interesting character, though. And it felt like going into Chapter 11, there was no way he was going to die. Because his character felt like a dead end. And if there's one thing I know about storytelling, dead-end characters don't die. No, not always, but in a lot of cases they don't because it's almost too predictable. It's ironic because in episode 11, they opened his story arc up a bit with the whole Shinyas Company thing. Ironically enough, by opening his story arc and opening up more stories to be told with Adam, it became more likely he would die. Because there is very little point in killing off characters that have nowhere left to go. If anything, those type of deaths tend to be heroic sacrifice deaths or suicides or something like that. But actually killing a character in that sense doesn't usually happen. Because a character that has nowhere to go is one of the most malleable characters that you can do almost anything with. And killing a character that has no story arcs left is... their story is completed in a sense, so there's not much point. This felt like the conclusion of the Adam story, but they kind of added in a wrinkle there where there was definitely more he could do after this. And they killed him, and it makes sense. And Chapter 11 made that make more sense. And we kind of figured something like that might have been under his mask, but actually confirming it's a whole nother story. Never got redeemed in any facet, really. And honestly, Adam's words For all that Yang and Blake felt shippy, I don't think there was anything egregious. And I know that people who are big, hardcore fans of Eclipse and Black Sun will say that that's just two best friends. People who are hardcore fans of Bumblebee will say that that was shippy as fuck. And on both sides of it, I think there's full justification to think either way, because that very much could go either way. As someone who is a huge fan of Bumblebee, but is very unbiased. I mean, I love Bumblebee, but I mean, like, I read things at face value. It did come off very shippy. It very well might have just been a best friend thing. Either of those opinions are correct. If anything, the thing that made that scene feel really shippy was fucking Adam. Regardless, and I'm curious if you guys will agree with me here, and this is kind of the thing that makes me feel even more that, like, Bumblebee is on the verge of potentially happening, even next episode, if not in the future. Adam saw it that way. Regardless of how Yang feels or Blake feels, and I think Yang has feelings. Again, Blake's been more the question mark here in Bumblebee. Adam saw it that way. Partner, lover, friend, whatever. The way that Adam saw Yang as his replacement, and the way that Adam considered himself with Blake clearly, that and the way that he worded the things he said was probably more shippy than anything else. That episode was insane. The stuff with Caroline and the rest of the main character, the rest of the main group was awesome. Great. The Grimm, the Leviathan coming for the final episode. I was kind of right. I had that idea that by the end of 12, our main two fights would be over and a third threat would arise as the finale threat. Now, I imagined that it would be Cinder and Neo. It turned out to be a giant Grimm called the Leviathan. But the same idea, for those of you who have been watching my Voltron reactions, Voltron Season 7 kind of had the same thing happen. We had this big conflict, and then at the end of episode 12, ironically enough, 13-episode season, just like RWBY, at the end of episode 12, another threat kind of appeared out of nowhere and took over the actual finale antagonist role. And the same thing happened. I read that from a mile away. I shot my shot about Cinder and Neo, and I was wrong. Could they still show up amidst this chaos and make a play on RWBY? Absolutely. This is a scenario where I think Cinder and Neo are still 100% in play for this finale, especially if this finale is a RWBY-length type finale, 30 minutes, somewhere along those lines. They're still totally in play. But I was wrong. I took a shot. It was an unlikely shot, but I took my shot to be awesome, to predict something epic, and it didn't happen, but something epic still happened. All of that aside, it's hard for me not to focus on the interactions between Adam, Blake, and Yang, because Adam just fucking died. And I swear to God, I know I'm going to get that comment saying, but Cinder fell down the thing in the ice and she wasn't dead. Adam's fucking dead. And if Rooster Teeth wants to pull that bullshit with this, like, Cinder never got stabbed fucking, like, double stabbed through fucking, like, nothing crazy like that happened. The only way I could imagine myself being okay with Adam being alive is if somehow Salem did some crazy grim shit, made him some crazy grim shit, keep him alive. Even then, that'd be kind of weird. He's dead. So anyone who's questioning that, he's fucking dead. And the story arc makes sense that he died. The thing about this fight was that something major had to happen. Because of plot armor, Blake wasn't going to die. Yang wasn't going to die. So either Adam had to die or some other major event had to happen. And sure enough, Adam died, which makes this entire build-up, this entire fight sequence worthwhile because it had a payoff that was worthy of the situation. The Adam, Blake, Yang storyline has reached its apex, its conclusion. And does this lead to Bumblebee? Honestly, I don't know. Like, all jokes aside, all memes aside, it could happen. Could happen next episode. Could happen next season. This is the conclusion of this character arc for Blake and Yang. And they're stronger than ever now. Are they gay? Well, I guess bi in Blake's case. I mean, but gay for each other is what I mean. Are they gay for each other? I don't know. Very possibly not. But regardless, their relationship is stronger than ever. And it's beautiful to see because I think we all love Blake and Yang. Especially Yang. I know some people aren't big fans on Blake. Or there was a lot of hate for Blake in the past. I think Blake had a lot of hate in the day. Jean had a lot of hate in the day. But I think most people love Blake because, I think people getting super passionate over these two ships in particular, Sun and Blake, Yang and Blake, you kind of have to love love Blake or you wouldn't care at all. At least I don't think so. Unless obviously you're overtly gay or gay hater. And then I guess even if you didn't care about Blake, you might still have a strong opinion on it. But I don't think that's there's definitely a section, a good section of that. There's definitely the people who hate gay shit, and there's definitely the people who love gay shit, and that, kind of pushes them. Obviously, I'm someone who loves gay shit, but, there's obviously a lot more to it than that. It's so interesting. This episode was so interesting. This episode was so crazy. It's surreal. Like, I'm still thinking about it. Like, this is one that I'm talking to you guys for a while because I want to kind of record this process of me thinking about what just happened because Adam is dead. That is crazy. That guy they introduced in the Black trailer as a key part of Blake's story fucking died this episode. The first guy ever introduced in RWBY died. That is not an exaggeration. Character introductions. RWBY, then Weiss, then Adam and Blake. Adam was one of the first 4 characters introduced in RWBY. He was introduced before Yang. He was introduced before Ozpin, before the narrator we would learn to be Salem, for Jean or Ren or Nora or Pyrrha. He was one of the first characters in the entire series. He was one of the first 2 characters to have dialogue. I swear to, because he had dialogue. He might have had the first fucking words in all of RWBY. I don't know if it was Blake or Adam. I haven't seen the Black trailer in forever. The first dialogue, there was no dialogue in the red or white trailers. So the first lines of RWBY, because I know not in the first episode, but the trailers are canon. I mean, those trailers, red, white, black, and yellow trailers, are canon material you're supposed to watch before the show. I mean, I obviously watched episode 1 first because I, didn't know, but I don't remember if it was Blake or Adam, but if he wasn't the first person to have a line in RWBY, he was the second. Obviously, that kind of overplays his importance. I mean, he was a very important character, but he wasn't the most important villain. Obviously, the most important villain has and always probably will be Cinder. I mean, as long as she's defined as a villain, I think, that's the exception. But as far as the villains we've introduced, Cinder has been the most important. I still believe to this day Cinder is the most important villain. Even with Salem out there, I still think Cinder is this show's most important villain. And one of the show's most important characters. I think you can argue as high as number 2 behind RWBY. I think there's an argument there based on my theories of where this show goes long term. She certainly would be in my top 10 for most important characters in RWBY, which Adam definitely does not fall in. But he was a very important character. One of the most important characters to die in RWBY. And I would argue that despite Roman having such a pivotal role, being kind of the first character of the show in terms of the actual first episode, and being a key force in volumes 1 and 2, and kind of a force late at the end in the fall of Beacon, the Battle of Beacon arc, at the end of the Beacon arc in volume 3, before he died, of course, in volume 3, chapter 11. Roman was an important character. Penny, not that important of a character. More of a plot device, but an adorable, amazing character. Now, obviously, I would outrank Adam. I would say would be outranked by Pyrrha in terms of important characters that have died in the show. But I would say Adam probably is the second most important character to die. Now, obviously, I love Roman. I love Roman way more than Adam. And obviously, Roman had such an impact in the early seasons, whereas Adam's impact's been more in the later seasons. And you can argue Roman had a bigger influence on the story, whatever. But Adam's story is so linked to Blake's and in the later seasons, you know, and the Blake story in terms of her backstory and then Yang's story as well. And it's come full circle today with an incredible episode that I honestly feel you put all of the Adam, Blake, Yang fights together. You put episode 10, the fighting, you know, you put the fighting with Adam and Blake. You put the fighting with Yang, and you put Adam and Blake fighting, Adam and Yang fighting, and then all three of them. Everything about this fight, I feel like it lived up to expectations. Blake and Yang conquered Adam together. And Adam, rest in peace, man. You know, a lot of people hated your voice actor, and a lot of people hated you. So I'm sure a lot of people are happy on this day. And I'm sure a lot of shippers are happy or pissed on this day. Because holy shit, Adam just pushed the fuck out of Bumblebee, in his rage, ironically enough. But God, that's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I don't know how this finale tops that. Adam's fucking dead. What can you do in this final episode to top that? Because, like, you're not going to kill off any of the group, because the group, like, there's been no death flags for anyone in the group. Like, no legitimate ones. Like, it's not like Volume 4 where, like, Crow, Ren, and Nora, more so Ren and Nora, but all three of them had death flags. And they all survived it. But, like, there was, like, legitimate feeling that one of them, specifically Ren or Nora, could die. We're fine here. No one's got death flags. So, like, I don't think anyone's going to die in this episode. I think that was the big death of the volume, which, again, not all volumes have. I mean, Volume 4, Volume 5, like I said, you know, Volume 3, we had several. There really hasn't been a major character death since the fall of Beacon at the end of Volume 3, and this is certainly the biggest one that's happened since. I mean, Vernal died in Volume 5, but that wasn't a major character death. That was probably the biggest one in Volumes 4 and 5 I can think of. But yeah, that was crazy. I mean, like Blake's parents almost died, but obviously that didn't happen. So, wow, what a crazy ending to this, to the Adam, Blake, Yang saga. And it ended the way I think most people thought it would. And it ended, I think, the way it should have. I mean, I think Blake and Yang killing Adam and the way they did, I think it makes sense. And I think that was what they should have done. But wow. Anyways, I think I'm going to leave it off here because at this point I think I'm just going to be talking all day. So anyways, Flamin' Shark sign out. Hope you guys have a wonderful, fantastical day, and I'll see you next time with another video. Thanks for watching. Peace.